Hi, this is Nikki. This is your weekend reading for the 16th, 17th and 18th of June 2017. Okay, we've got the moon is in Pisces this weekend, which is quite a nice place for it to be. The sun's in Gemini. You've also got Mercury in Gemini. But that is opposite Saturn in Sagittarius. So I do think that will be forcing some conversations, some communication this weekend. I think they will be more around ideas and ideas for the future, because Gemini is very forward looking. It won't be about looking at the past. You've got the opposition to Sagittarius. Sagittarians are quite blunt. Geminis are quite clever at talking. So you'll have this kind of opposition going on in conversations. One person might be being a little too blunt. You may find that it's being a bit too clever. It's that kind of opposition that could play out in some conversations over the weekend. But it probably, with Saturn coming into play, there are probably conversations that do need to be had, and they will probably have quite a long-lasting influence on our futures. So they are quite important to let those just happen, and try not to be too emotional, because the moon is in Pisces and that's quite close to Chiron as well. So it should force some long-term healing, especially in relationships, but it could be quite emotional. Okay, so I have pulled some cards. The first card is the Devil card, and that is normally focused on relationships, but it can be also on addictions. And if we feel that our life is being held back by unhealthy obsessions with a person or a substance or something like that, then some of those conversations that we might have, even with ourselves, it might be around this idea that we want to break free of some of these restrictions. Oh yeah, we're going to have this with Saturn, I think Sagittarius, looking at freedom and where that's being restricted and where we want to get a better balance. Okay, you've got the Knight of Wands reversed. Not the best night, not the best night to be reversed. This tends to be the male energy in a elusive place, not really very grounded, not very committed, in and out, changeable, quite fun, but not really the ideal kind of husband material, should we say, the male energy there. So I think you've got that, again, playing into the idea of perhaps more men than women looking at this idea of making a judgment on what they want freedom-wise, and comparing that and making some priorities about what they want relationship-wise, perhaps. Then we've got the Hierophant, and this is quite often looking at marriages. It's upright, so that's quite positive, and it's looking, when you've got those three cards together, it makes me think, it's just sort of like a conflict of interests at the moment. We're not quite sure what we are prioritising, whether that's our own personal freedom or fun, or if we want to be more committed. So it's that sort of tension that's going to play out over the weekend. In terms of going out and having fun, I think actually the moon in Pisces is going to make it quite difficult for us to go out and really connect. We might feel a little bit dazed, a little bit over emotional. So although, I mean, it's, there's nothing saying don't go out, but I think it's not going to be a massively sociable time. But I do think when you do go out on a weekend like this, you will meet people that you resonate with quite strongly, because we're in touch with our inner selves. So if you do meet someone, you can have an instant connection with them. And quite often strangers just say things that trigger us to think in different ways and that type of thing. I think that's how going out socialising will play out this weekend. So have a lovely weekend. We've got the summer solstice coming up in the middle of the week, and that's going to bring a lot of changes. I've done a separate video on that. And you've got the new moon coming up next weekend. So there's lots happening this week. It's quite an interesting week. And this weekend is the weekend where we're going to kick off some of those changes, I think, and have some of those conversations. Okay, well, have a lovely weekend. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.